Alright, boys and girls, Mr. D here. In this video, you're going to learn how to add and subtract matrices and multiply matrices by what we call a scalar. You'll find this, I think, to be a pretty simple and straightforward video here for our mathematical level. As you get up into the geometry and algebra 2, these matrices that you work with will get to be much more complex. But for now, we're just going to give you a basic intro to them. So let's take a look here. A couple keys. Please make sure you jot these down. Matrices have to be the same exact dimensions in order to add and subtract them. And then when we do so, we just add and subtract the corresponding parts. So take a look here at the first example. These two matrices, see how they're the exact same size. They are 2 rows across, 2 rows down. Therefore, they are the same dimensions. They're what we would call 2 by 2. Okay. And when we talk about corresponding parts here, it's pretty simple. You know, the 0 corresponds with this -2. Okay, the 4 goes with the +2. This 5 obviously is going to go with the -6. And at this point, you should see the trend we've got going here. The -2 corresponds with the +1. So all we're going to do is just the basic operations that we get when we combine these. So 0 and a -2, that gives us -2. Okay. 4 and +2, well, that's going to give us 6. 5 and -6, well, that gives us -1. -2 and +1, well, that also gives us -1. We put that in our brackets, and voila. And that's it. That's all there is to it, guys and girls. Okay. Take a look here at example 2. This one very similar. Again, first we have to check is the matrices are the same exact size. They're identical. Here, though, we've got a little negative sign between them. So, again, just think about if we had a negative sign outside of some parentheses, you would distribute that negative to each thing inside the parentheses. Same idea here. So if we do that, this really becomes a +2. This becomes a +1. Now we have -3 and -3. And now let's do our math. All right? So, sorry for my brackets not being perfectly even there. Let's see if we can fix that up a little bit. Alright, so 3 and +2, well, that's going to be 5. -5 and a +1, well, that's going to be -4. 0 and -3, well, it's going to be -3. -2 and -3, well, that would be -5. And again, before I did my math there, I just took the negative and I just distributed it to each number, changing the sign of it. And then I just combined the numbers as I normally would. Okay. Here in example 3, again, we have another negative sign here. But if you look, oh my goodness, we got different sizes, not 2 by 2. Now we've got 2 columns, 3 rows. But they are still identical. They're the same exact size, so we could still add and subtract them. Not a big deal. Let's fix up our signs, though. I'd like to do that first since we have the negative sign here. Alright, make this negative so we can get rid of this thing here. Make that a plus. Okay, and just change the sign of each of these. Okay, so now we do our matrices. Now 1 and a -1.3, well, that's going to be -0.3. Right, 9 +2, well, that's 11. -1 and -1, -2. 0 and +3, well, that's simple. -3 and -4, don't let it fool you. Same sign combined, -7, bam. +3.5 and a -2, different signs, take the difference, take the sign of the bigger, so we got a +1.5, and there's your answer. Okay, again, this is pretty simple and straightforward. It just comes down to adding, subtracting numbers. Here, we've got what we call a scalar here. Right here, there's 3 outsides are scalar. Essentially, you think about you're changing the scale of every number here. We're going to multiply each term by the number on the outside. It's almost like the distributive property. Okay, almost like the distributive property. There, that'll make it easier for you. So, our new matrix, I'll put it over here at this time. Okay. Multiply 3 times 2, well, that's 6. 3 times -1, -3. 3 times 6, and 3 times 0. There you go. That's your final answer. Of course, you can imagine if we had a negative 3 here, then it would be negative 3 times positive 2, negative 3 times negative 1, and so forth. So that's pretty much it. I hope you found this video simplifying for you, and we'll do some more practice in class. See you then.